Hi everyone, welcome back to the Curious Cat Kitchen. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kat. Today I'm going to show you how to make vegan picadillo. Picadillo consists of a ground meat, tomatoes, olives, raisins, and capers. And also you can add anything else to it depending on the variation that you're making. There's potatoes that's been added. However, today I'm just making the ground meat with the tomatoes and actually just olives, no raisins, no capers. It is a great make ahead dish because it's so full of flavors that you can make it, keep it in the fridge, and then just add it to your rice, your salad. You can make sandwiches. You can add it to anything to create a different meal out of it for the week, right? So, and the ground meat mixture that I'm going to show you is my version that I like to use whenever anything calls for ground meat. It's a combination using tofu, mushrooms, and walnuts. I believe that with that combination, I find with that combination, the meatiness and the texture of the meat is mimicked very well with those ingredients. So you can use, like I said, the meat mixture for anything that requires ground meat, and obviously just change the flavors as you go. So let's get into it.
So my meat mixture base consists of tofu, mushrooms, and walnuts. I add tofu in it because I like the texture when you bake it like this. You've seen me do this many times in other videos. And you just take a block of tofu, crumble it up, and you can use from firm to super firm. It's up to you. Just realize that super firm, you will have to bake it less because there's less liquid in it. And then I just add seasonings such as my usual seasoning of pepper, garlic powder, smoked paprika, salt, and onion powder. And then we want to go ahead and just mix that up all together really well so every piece of tofu is seasoned. And, like, you'll see the coloring change, so you want to make sure every piece of it is coated. And then we bake in the oven at 400 degrees between 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the type of tofu you're using. And now we're going to go ahead and blend up the mushrooms. I quartered the mushrooms. I'm doing the mushrooms first before I add the walnuts because I don't want walnuts paste. I want the walnuts to still have a bite to it. Just small chopped pieces, but I don't want it to become a paste. So sometimes the mushroom takes a little bit more time to chop it up to get it all cut up nicely. So I usually do that first. And then I'll add the walnuts. As you know, once again, I don't measure anything. So I probably used a little bit more than, probably a container of mushrooms. Because I just buy the mushrooms from Costco, and I put about a cup of walnuts in there. And then you just want to mix it up, as anytime you're using the food processor, to make sure that it's all evenly cut and chopped. I'm going to just go ahead and add a little bit more walnuts in here. So you can put anywhere from a cup to a cup and a half, again, depending on how many mushrooms you're using. You want it to be, it depends on what texture you like, but I like it to be a little bit more mushrooms than there are walnuts, but it depends on the consistency that you like. So you want to process it until it looks like this texture. Then that mushroom and walnut mixture is ready. So now you want to go ahead and prep the sofrito base, which is onion, red pepper, and garlic. I was first introduced to picadillo by an old manager of mine who was Cuban. And I knew it had Latin roots, but I always known it to be from Cuba. But the roots of it is actually from southern Spain, and although it's a staple in Cuba as well as Mexico and even the Philippines have adapted it. So I do not put. Um, Usually, it's with red peppers, onions, olives, capers, um, and raisins. I don't put capers, and sometimes I'll do raisins. It just depends how I feel, but I didn't put raisins in this one. But again, you can just kind of adjust the flavor to how you like. That's the great thing about creativity, right? You add and take away as you go, based on what you like and what you don't like. And it's always great when you're cooking because you have the ability and the play, the freedom to just kind of add whatever you want, take whatever you want, use whatever you have in the fridge that needs to be used because it's been sitting there. But you can add and eliminate things to make it your own. Um, Taking a base of something, right? Once you have the flavor base of something, then you are free to just play around with it, change it, make it your own. That's the fun part about it. Um, Next time, don't be like me. I did buy olives that were that was not that had seeds. I bought olives with seeds, and it was a struggle to cut through all of it to get as much of the meat out. So don't be like me. And now this is the baked tofu out of the oven. Once you take it out, you want to just crumble it, and it will break down to that, and it will have a chewy texture to it. As you all may know, if you've seen my other videos where I do the baked tofu, baked crumbled tofu. Now we have the oil. We're gonna heated oil. We're gonna add in the chopped onions. Let that cook for a bit until it becomes translucent. And speaking of creativity, in a conversation with someone tonight, friend tonight, that I realize creativity and your vision, what you see, what you picture, nobody else can create it like you would because nobody can see it exactly the way you see it. Even when someone shares your vision and they can picture what you're saying, they're still gonna interpret it and do something that makes it their own. So they're still gonna interpret it with what they see and their perception to it. So when you have a vision of something, nobody else can create it like you. And that's the beautiful thing about creativity, beautiful and unique thing about creativity. That's why nobody can steal your vision, your idea. They can copy it. They can take it and make it their own and copy it. And who knows, they might even make it better depending on how they're able to envision it. But it's still not how you would do it because your creativity and your vision is going to be unique to you. So never worry about what you know, people stealing your ideas. It's nothing is ever really new. You just add to it and add things you know to it to make it new. Anyway, so after the onions, you go ahead and add in your peppers, your chopped peppers. I didn't mention, but the pepper that I had was a little bit old. It wasn't the freshest pepper. It was still red. It was still good, but it was a little bit wilted, but still usable, so shouldn't waste it. So we go ahead, add the pepper, let that cook down, and then we can go ahead and add the mushroom and walnut mixture. You pretty much add everything in at this point, and then add the tomato sauce and season it. It really is a quick dish to make. Doesn't cost too much, and it's healthy. You have the good fats from the walnuts, you have protein from the tofu, you got your veggies, and on top of that, you can take away things to it. You can also serve this in many, many different ways. I've realized that I actually enjoy taking a base, like something like the picadillo, like my watermelon tuna, and then taking that base and just putting it with different things. or putting it in different things to create something else. Like, I think you can take one base that you like and make 5 other dishes from it or more, that would taste really, really good. So now you can add in your olives and your raisins if you're adding that. So pretty much after you cut up everything and you prep everything, it's like one pan. You throw everything together, and it doesn't matter the order that you throw it in. You just throw everything together and let it cook. Um, the tofu, you can add it in earlier. I added in later for this one. Again, doesn't matter the order that you add it in. You just go ahead, add everything in, get the flavors melding together. At this point, you want to just taste it, season it. You want to make sure everything is mixed well. I'm just making sure all the tofu pieces are mixed in there. Everything is just combined and evenly combined. It looked a little bit dry, so I went ahead and added some more tomato sauce. You can make this a little bit saucier too. Again, depending on what you want to do with it. If you like it saucy, you can add a little bit more tomato sauce so that it has a little bit more juices. But this is how it looks. Now, this is what I call a quick and easy dish made with simple ingredients that packs flavor.
There you have it. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you do try this recipe. Like I said, it is a great recipe to make for meal prep. You can make it, keep it in the fridge, and then just add it to your rice, to quinoa, to salads, to sandwiches. I've made picadillo wontons with it. You can just create different meals from this one recipe. That's what I love about it. It's very versatile. So, like I said, let me know if you do try it, and until next time, stay curious.